Welcome back to the Ectoviolence channel. Today, we're talking Scream 2 from 1997 on VHS. And specifically, we're going to be talking about this copy I hold in my hands. If you missed it, I did review the VHS for Scream from 1996 already. Check that out. I'll say it right off the bat. This is not my favorite Scream movie. It's not even my favorite Scream sequel. However, I love the Scream franchise in general, so we're going to give it a go. Let's go ahead and pop this tape in. There's a bunch of different trailers and ads. My favorite of these is the "Coming soon to theaters" little bumper.
Coming soon to theaters.
And then a Halloween H2O trailer that's pretty short. There's an ad for Children of the Corn 5, and of course, an ad for the Scream 2 soundtrack, available on compact disc. That's CD for you kids out there. Nothing hits quite like that.
And now, our feature presentation.
You know what I mean? My body is ready. It is willing to receive Scream 2 on VHS now. Let's talk about the opening of this movie, right? It's at a preview screening for Stab, a movie based on the events in the first movie. Now, it's stuff like this that gets the movie ranked so high, and all I can think of watching this is, man, I'd really like to see Stab. And it's dumb because it's just me wanting to see a worse version of Scream. And if I want to do that, I can just watch Scary Movie now. Look at those vintage Pepsi cups, man. That's the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night. I'm not as much of a fan of the boyfriend getting killed in the bathroom. That kill seems a little dumb to me. But the in-theater kill, it's almost justified. If everyone else hadn't been going crazy too, you know what I mean? Because she was talking super loud throughout the entire movie. So Ghostface did what we all want to do when people are talking in movies. One of the more infamous scenes from this movie is the talk of sequels in the classroom.
It's bullshit generalization. Many sequels have surpassed their original.
Oh yeah?
Name one.
Now, personally, I'm gonna say I prefer Terminator and I prefer Alien.
Aliens. Far better than the first.
Yeah, well, there's no accounting for taste.
And I'm not just saying that to be a contrarian. I genuinely prefer Alien, and I genuinely prefer Terminator. They are more horror-oriented sci-fi movies, as opposed to action-oriented, which is way more my vibe. Hey, it's Jerry O'Connell from Stand By Me and Kangaroo Jack. One of the big things for me that I used to hate about this movie was Jerry O'Connell. The more I watch it, the more I'm accepting of it. And listen, I don't hate Jerry O'Connell or anything. More power to him. I think he's a great, interesting person, as far as I know. But there was just something about this performance and character that always bothered me. We get Timothy Olyphantastic in this. I actually think he's grown into be a great actor. Last thing I remember seeing him in was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Not a huge role, but executed great. Speaking of executed, Dewey's walking around with a limp now because of a severed nerve in his back. That's wild. It seems like the actual kills themselves are a little toned down in this movie. The story is pretty top-notch, though. Scream 2 in particular feels very Scooby-Doo, and I love Scooby-Doo, so give it to me. Top Gun reference, nice.
I think I love you.
Don't do this.
I think I love you.
Despite Top Gun being a propaganda movie, I actually really like it. And don't get me started on the soundtrack. And can we talk about how much Dewey loves ice cream? Anytime Dewey needs to think, he's like, alright, I gotta get some ice cream. Scream, 1996, Dewey eating ice cream. Scream 2, 1997, Dewey and Randy eat Baskin-Robbins and debate who the suspects are. There's a news featurette on Stab on the TV while they're in Baskin-Robbins, and we see that Tori Spelling, Dave Schwimmer, and Luke Wilson are also in the movie with Heather Graham. David Arquette has a way of delivering lines as Dewey sometimes that just absolutely tickles me.
Well, if I'm a suspect, you're a suspect. You have a point.
Joel the cameraman, underrated character. He's funny, he's smart, he is us, he is the viewer, who's like, nah dude, I am out of here. I'm not doing this.
I'm gonna go get me some coffee, donuts, Prozac, see if I can find some crack. Special KX, not Malcolm.
Glad to see he survives too. The park scene's fun. Anytime you get Randy talking about obscure horror movies, it's great. Again, though, the kill itself is kind of lacking. He just gets pulled into the van and we just kind of see the van shaking and rustling around. Randy deserved better. More interesting kill, come on. The scene in the police car, that's pretty tense. Every time I watch this, I forget how it ends, and I expect one of them to be grabbed while crawling over Ghostface, but they aren't. As soon as you see that shot of her standing over there by herself, it's like, oh, no, that's over, she's dead. And I'm still mad at them for not pulling the mask off right then and there. Truly disappointing. In my head, I was thinking, this is one of my least favorite endings to a Scream movie. Watching it back, it's in probably the bottom couple still, but it may have moved up. I don't know. I like it a little bit more this time around. Mickey's reveal and his discussion of motive, and he actually wants to get caught and go to have a court case and all this shit. That's wild. That dude's crazy. And it's even crazier when Mrs. Loomis, aka Roseanne's sister, comes out, and they tear down part of the set and it falls on her. and they're acting like they're real stones, like the sound effects are real stone. Like, no, those are probably fucking styrofoam. What are you talking about? Sorry, just a small thing, but that was like, what? The pan and scan on this VHS isn't that bad. I noticed it in a spot or two, but I didn't even write it down because it wasn't super noticeable. But I did notice at the end it suddenly switches to a widescreen shot on the full screen VHS.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It'll make a hell of a movie.
And this is the shot where it's just kind of craning out and showing, you know, Sydney as she walks away. Kind of strange. So how did I feel about Scream 2 watching it this time around? I did a video ranking the Scream movies and I ranked it pretty low on that one. Watching it back this time, I definitely think it's up there with 3 for me. Now I know you're thinking, what? Because a lot of people think 3 is the worst one. The only thing that I think that's really, really awful about 3 to me looking back is the voice changer aspect, how it just sounds like everybody, which would be something that would make sense if they did it now. But I digress. We'll get to a Scream 3 review eventually. I had a lot more fun with this movie this time around. This one's always been kind of my least favorite, and it's just been growing on me more and more. But again, I really enjoy the Scream franchise. On the whole, I think it's one of the stronger horror franchises out there, along with Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, and Evil Dead. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on Scream 2 in the comments below. Specifically, I want to hear about your first time watching Scream 2. And as always, if you like this video, please be sure to like and be kind, subscribe. Thanks for watching.